Oof, oh my. Hey, it's the old man here. Let me get untangled. And got the good furniture. Got a fire going. Lady's good. So it's story time by the fire. I think there's nothing better. And now the smoke's blowing my way. And nothing better for worrying is having a good fire. Yeah, I'm worried. That thing now is 15 miles south of us at a nursing home. Interesting isn't the word, but it's getting serious. Stock market crashed yesterday, the biggest drop in history, I guess. So yeah, it could get interesting, we'll say the least. But yeah, I'll tell you a story instead of worrying about stuff. I don't want to sit and breathe smoke. Yeah, you know the story, smoke follows beauty, right? Yeah, let me know if it's blowing my way. So, story about Jackin Cedar. Jackin is the term for Thevin, and cedar is what they make shake roofs and shingle roofs, and that was the norm forever up in this neighborhood. I mean, the big good shake roof, you got it made for 40, 50 years. And that was a sought after item. I got it. So anyway, yeah, back in the 70s, a cord of firewood may have been $75, but a cord of cedar shake bolts, what they made shingles out of, I think they were 2 foot, maybe 36 inches. Cedar blocks, when you split it up, it broke into a big rectangular block, a bolt of cedar. And so a cord of cedar shake bolts was probably worth $400, almost a lot of money. And so people were tempted to steal it. And I could tell you half a dozen stories about some of the good ones. But what I wanted to talk about, Randy, you know that friend of mine I talked about, worked together in Montana, we worked together in Pioneer Square. Good friend. Well, he found the lure of easy money to be too much. And I told him, I said, this is like the sirens on the beach, and maybe you kids don't know what that term is. Back in the old days, sailing ships and all that stuff, the sirens on the beach were these beautiful women that would supposedly sit on the beach and play harps and invite the guys to come forward, and only to hit the reef and crash and die and be looted. So yeah, just kind of don't always go for the easy mark is the gist of that story. So Randy and this other guy are living on the Olympic Peninsula, and they were doing firewood and cedar when they could find it. And they found this big pile of cedar. Like a lot of it, what happened was when they logged an area 100 years ago, if there was a cedar log that it wasn't perfect, they just left it, and they might have been 6 foot through. And there's still plenty of good shakes on that, so they went and found those things and hauled them out of the woods, out of the national forest. So they figured we'll work at night and we'll use buck saws, those big giant saws of guy on each end, and you see them now painted with a mural on them and stuff. People don't use them, I don't think, except for logging shows, I suppose. Gnarly saws. I mean, the teeth were good 3 inches. And so they had this old Studebaker wagon that they put beefed up shocks on and stuff so they could haul not quite a half a cord, but they could haul a good amount of cedar shake bolts. And they figured nobody'd look at a station wagon, so that's what they used. And so they go up in the woods, and they find this log and get it all set up. And they cut a few rounds, which is just one section of it, and cracked them all up and took them back to town and got cash money, and everything was cool. Well, this is hard work. So they find this old man in town who's a filer, who knows how to file those saws. So they paid him and took it back up in the woods, and Randy said this was almost easy compared to what they were doing with the dull one that they had tried to sharpen themselves. He said it was throwing chips 3 inches long, little curls. Said it really went easy. So every night they would take the saw, drop it off at the old man's place, well, in the morning, because they worked the nights. And when they went to work, they'd swing by his shop, and it would be laying against the back door, and they'd grab it and paid him weekly. I don't know how they did it. So they always had a sharp saw, and he said they could really make time with that sharp saw like that. And this went on for a while. And got lazy one night and decided to use chainsaws. Yes. Few hours into the job, there's a car coming up the hill. They're way up on the side of this mountain, and they could see the road for miles. So there's no way you could sneak up on them. And so we got to do something. So they basically ran for their lives, lost $1,500 worth of chainsaws and tools. He had a Jan Surret chainsaw and some Swedish one, I can't remember the name, but they like the high-end stuff. And if you're going to work, buy good tools. So yeah, those guys, when he told me that story, I said, well, you guys made a lot of money on that deal. Shut up. Yeah, you reap what you sow. I mean, it wasn't harming anything. I mean, it was just going to lay there and rot anyway. I suppose it's a good idea. But yeah, we'll call it good for now. The old man will be back. Yeah, I got a few good stories of how they were Jackin Cedar and how the ingenious ways they got away with it. That was damn good money. $400 a cord. It might have been a couple grand in today's money. Yeah, I don't know if I need to be standing around a smoky fire with the threat of the flu right around the corner. So yeah, the old man's keeping busy. Just wanted to let you know it's basically knocking on our door now. The local hospital in town put up tents outside for the overflow. I hope you praying, folks out there. Pray for the old man. Pray for our country. Could you imagine being stuck in a tent outside of a hospital and your family can't come and visit you? Oof. But I am the hopeless optimist. I seem like I've always had a good immune system. We'll see how it tests out this time. So you guys take care, and thanks for watching to the end of the tape. I've looked on YouTube, and a few people don't watch the whole show. Yeah, you guys take care, and I'll be back if I don't get smoked out from this thing. When I'm working around the fire, I'm very conscious of where the smoke is, so I stand off to the side and then not just hacking this shit all day. Take care. Thanks for stopping by.